My name is Chris Horney.
And my name is Katie Horney.
We have 3 little daughters, Nora, who is 9, Violet, who is 7, and Scarlett, who turns 5 next week. And we've been coming to First Pres for a year and a half.
I actually first learned about First Pres, their VBS program, through some mutual friends. So I became involved as sort of volunteer with the VBS and then eventually helped out with Spark. And so I have been, helping out mostly with the children's ministries.
And I've been working on the renovation committee, primarily because I sat through one of the initial meetings about it, and it's what I do for work, so I felt like I had to be there to help. Something that I think both of our parents taught us is that if you have the ability to give back, and that can be in all sorts of different ways, whether it's through your time or through certainly money, or and there's all sorts of ways to give back, but it's an important part of just being Christian, being a good person.
And I think even just the short amount of time that we've been coming to First Pres, it's sort of made quite an impact on Chris and I, our girls, so it felt like the right thing to do.
I think we both think that once we're a part of something, you really kind of lean into being a part of everything. I guess I don't want to take too much credit. I think it was our parents and sort of how we were raised. It's less about them telling us to be generous, or it's more about seeing what your parents are doing, whether it's volunteering or giving back and being part of I remember my dad being a part of our church campaign. I remember my mom volunteering at Sunday school. It was not something we actively talked about at the dinner table, but it was something that they modeled, right? And I like to think that Katie and I tried to do the same with our children, but I guess we won't know until they get older and they do things themselves. Giving money is not difficult. It's time, right? Because time in an age where Katie and I both work, and we have 3 little kids, and I work in the city and she works in Winfield. Time is the most valuable thing we have. And so balancing giving back the time is honestly as much more difficult than writing a check.
For me, I'm very much sort of what you would call a homebody, an introvert, and becoming a member in a church such as First Pres, which is very community-based, and becoming involved in relationships that maybe I otherwise wouldn't if I decided to stay home or just watch church online or do something like that. I feel like he is growing me in that way, forcing me to sort of get uncomfortable and become more involved in my community and with my kids' school and grow me in that way.
I think just in observations of being in the business world that oftentimes the most successful people are more generous. And that includes more generous with money and time and all kinds of things, because this world isn't all about just you, right? And no one got to the place where they are by themselves. And so if you have a mentality that it's kind of like a hoarding everything to me all by myself mentality, I don't think you end up at the place that others who are more generous, who are more thoughtful, who are recognizing and acknowledging that everyone sort of needs help, everyone kind of gets there together, and I don't think it's a secret that the more you give, you end up getting more in return.